Good morning. It is Sunday, July 17th, 2022. It's around 11 o'clock in the morning. We started 9 o'clock this morning from York Pond Trailhead to climb Mount Cabot. We're going to do the loop, so we came out Bunnell Notch. Now we're on Kilkenny Ridge, and this is Bunnell Rock that we're on right now. We're going to go up we're going to go to the summit, which doesn't have a view. Then we're going to go to over the bulge, which doesn't have a view. Then we're going to go to the horn, which does have a view. We'll be able to see the presidentials from there. Then we're going to come down to Unknown Pond and take Unknown Pond Trail out. So it makes like a triangle if you look on a map. Anyway, this is the Kilkenny Ridge remainder of it. So we're going to get Star King and Wambeck and the Weeks. Behind it, which it's really hard to see on my screen, is Franconia Ridge, Mount Lafayette, and the Kinsmans are over here. And then over here is Mount Moriah. So there's John in the shade. And this is Bunnell Rock, which is a little bit of a drop-off. Very quiet day today. I mean, we showed up at 9 o'clock, and one of the parking lots, the York Pond parking lot, was completely empty, which I'd never seen. And the other one still had space. So everybody's doing high peaks, I guess. All right, so the next stop is the Cabot Cabin, which we'll probably just walk right by. And then there's a little view right past the cabin, so we might stop and take a look. It's not a great view, but it's all right. We like the woods up here. And we are coming up to the cabin. The outhouse is out there.
Give me a smile.
Give John a smile. In front of the sign that says toilet.
Yes.
Here's the cabin. It's I think it's first come, first serve. You can stay here. No fee. There's a little fire pit thing down in the front. Although I don't think you should be having fires now. There it is. I'm going. They just redid it last year. There's a table, a sign book. Smells like spam. It does have a smell. I think it smells like paint. These are the bunks. Bottom bunk doesn't look so clean. All right.
Those people were probably here.
They probably were, although they had a tent, so maybe they just were prepared. Those guys were camping too. All right, so that is the cabin, and then right up here, there's a little view. I think there's also like a place you could set up a tent in theory. Right up here. And this is the way we're going to get to the summit, which I think is like 0.4 away. How far is the summit? Do you know?
I don't remember.
It's not very far.
I don't think it's on those signs in the distance.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't set up a tent here, but little view out. And then
Looks like it's about.
this was like a fire tower maybe over in this area. And then another view out this way.
Probably 3 tents.
Okay, that's what I thought, 3 or 4. Nothing great here. So next stop is the summit. And I believe if you need to get water, you have to keep going. It's not here, right? That looks like a little down, but you have to walk out this way a bit. And then you have to go way down. It's like 3/10 or something stupid, I say. Way down, and it wasn't like brushed out. It was really, really tight, and it had rained the night before. And we needed water, but we decided not to get it there. It was so far down. And we were on our way out, and we were backpacking, so we just held on. Oh, there's something. I think it's a frog, a toad. Making a lot of movement in here. Where is he? Maybe it was a snake. I think it was a frog, though. I don't see, or toad. Sorry, not a frog. We saw one snake today and a whole bunch of toads, all different sizes. One of them was the biggest one I've ever seen. It was huge. All right. So we're still going to be on Kilkenny Ridge Trail for a while. I think maybe the water is right up here. Maybe not. In any case, it's a long way to go for water. And I'm not convinced that it's a reliable source, so I believe it's marked by a little cairn, and it's going to be off on the right. Boy, I feel like we're walking a long way just to get to the junction for it. Anyway, okay, there is, in theory, water out here. I've never actually gone to see. Okay, this is the summit of the bulge. It's just a high point on the trail. We came that way. We're gonna go that way. There's a little beaten path or two here. I don't know what for. Nothing. We made it to the summit of Cabot. It's the same as it always is. No views. And then as we were descending off of Cabot, we startled 3 grouse. They flew. They make that alarming, sometimes explosive helicopter kind of sound. And then as we were climbing up here, we startled 5 of them. 4, well, it's funny. I heard some motion off of both sides of the trail. And then I stopped, and then one went. Oh, it was so shocking. And then another one flew, and then another one flew from the other side of the trail. And then we kept walking, and then another one flew, and then I saw the other one, but it didn't fly. So that's like crazy. Really gets your heart rate going when they take off like that right next to you. My goodness. Anyway. That was exciting. And it's been very pleasant. I really like the trail up in here. As you can see, it's got some roots and some rocks, but it's pretty soft. And there's tons of ferns. And some of the places are mossy also. It's nice. And it's been very quiet. Except for the grouse. But not many people today. So next stop will be the Horn. Should be pretty close because we just went over the bulge. It's on a spur trail that I think is 3/10 out, but it's totally worth it. If you come up here, you got to do that. And we're going to have our lunch there. We are up on the Horn. We're the only people here. So right there is the bulge. And then Cabot, and the summit is right here. And then over here is Madison, Adams, and Washington. And then Monroe is sticking up right there. These are the weeks down here. It's hard to see on my screen. I think that's a peak. It's Terrace Mountain. And then over this way, the biggest thing in the distance is Old Speck. And then right here is Unknown Pond Peak. So we're gonna come down and take Unknown Pond Trail out, which runs next to that kind of. And behind it, if you can see there's like all rock. I think that's Rogers Ledge, which is another 52 of the view, which is excellent. And then this is looking north. Oops. Yeah. It's a little hazy because it's humid out. Oh, what is that? Huh. I don't know what that is. But it's neat looking. Right in here, there's a mountain that looks like it has quite a pronounced bump, like it would be named Sugarloaf, but I don't know what it is. I don't think it's not a Percy. We're not that far north. I don't know what that is. Interesting. All right. We're the only people here. We're having pizza and beer.
Yum.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. This is Unknown Pond. There's a campsite and like an official tent site called Unknown Pond Tent Site behind us a little bit. I can see big tadpoles. Look at them. Can you see them, John?
Really?
They're in there.
Oh yeah.
They won't show up on this, but
They're not massive.
they're not massive, but they're bullfrog, right? Because they're
yeah.
2 inches long. I've seen bigger, but I can hear the frogs out there. All right, so this is a pretty uneventful hike with not tons of views, but it's nice. And one thing that everyone should take away from it is keep all of your gear in the same place every time. Because I just had a panic attack when my phone was not where it belongs. And luckily, it was stuck in the back of my pack. I don't know why I put it there. But we've come 2 miles and it would have been very disheartening to have to go back and try to find it. Anyway, this is your moment of zen. Maybe a moose will step out. It won't, but very pretty. So we're almost to the junction of Unknown Pond Trail, and I think it's about 3.5 miles down that, and we'll pop out of our car. Lovely. So we're just a couple tents down Unknown Pond Trail, and this is the first moving water that we've encountered, and I stopped because there's some of these bog orchids. There's at least 4 of them. There's a couple back there. There's one that got trampled over here. And then when you turn around, there's a nice view of the presidentials right there. So Madison, Adams, and then Washington. Very nice. And down here in the meadow, we've got tall meadow rue blooming. And it is tall. It's over 5 feet tall. It's a pretty plant. I like it. And if you look through there, you might be able to see more of it down there. Wow, there's a really nice big clump of it down, way down. But it has a pretty leaf. That's the leaf. Nice. And there's been lots of ferns. Lots and lots of ferns. And this is usually a pretty wet trail. And there will definitely be some wet spots, but I think it's going to be much drier than normal because we are in a drought. Everything's been dry. So we are very close to the car now, and this area is pretty wet, and it's got some of these orchids in it. There's another one. And then there's a couple more up here. There are two varieties found in New Hampshire, and they look very similar. One is the grand tall, I can't remember. And the other one is not. Fringed. This one's super fringed. Purple bog orchid. I don't know if it's focusing. One way to tell them apart is the arrangement of the flowers. I can't remember what the difference was, so I have to go look. I saw some when we did the Bonds Traverse last week, and that was the first time I've ever seen any. And I checked them in on iNaturalist, and I wasn't sure which one it was. People identified it as the large one, and I think it was taller than the ones I've seen today also. So those were probably, how tall do you think, 18 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're the same. I'm going to have to go compare my pictures and also do a little research on how the flowers are arranged. But very cool to see. Never seen them before. And now 2 hikes basically in a row, or 2 weeks in a row. So anyway, we're almost back to the car. And yeah, it's been a beautiful day. It's kind of hot and humid. So I'm glad that we did something on the easier side with not a lot of sun. But I'm ready to be done. Maybe last year when I was here, a bear came walking out of the trail right after me. So, and it was around the same time of day, but I think it was in October. So maybe we'll get lucky and see something. This area has a lot of moose. I always hope that on the drive out, it's kind of a long way out to the road, the main road. People often see moose in here, but we're not really the right time of day. But you never know. That would be cool. So we saw one snake and 1,000 frogs. Toads. So many toads. All different sizes, all different colors, all over the place. Toad population is alive and well. Very cool. We are in our car on the side of the road. Here we go. Yikes. Okay. So, we're on Route 110. We just came out of the fish hatchery, and straight ahead of us is Jericho Mountain. That bear thought he was going to cross the road.